Hello AP students, this is Mrs. Politsky, and I have notes for Chapter 14, Social Psychology, and we're going to talk a little bit about the bystander effect. So we're going to start with the story that maybe some of you are familiar with. And actually this is a story that has been in the news here in the last year or so. In Queens, 38 ordinary citizens watched for more than half an hour as a man with a knife stalked and killed a woman named Kitty Genovese in 3 separate attacks. Kitty has been in the news recently. Matter of fact, there has been a few news programs about this event, and whether or not, for the most part, these individuals who were the bystanders did anything at all. As a matter of fact, some of you who might have taken the intro class might have heard a little bit about this when we did our current event. But twice, the sound of the bystanders' voices and the sudden glow of their bedroom lights interrupted the assailant and frightening him, and each time he returned to stab Kitty again. Not a single person telephoned the police during the assault, and only one witness called the police after the woman was finally raped and murdered. This is an example of what we call bystander apathy. Okay, this idea that bystanders, for the most part, if they are not, for the most part, immediately involved in a situation, may not necessarily intervene. So let's talk about these contrived emergencies. We have Bibb Latin and then John Darley. They began a series of studies on bystander intervention, and in their experiment they had a college student placed alone in a room with an intercom, and this individual was led that he was communicating with one or more students in an adjacent room. During a discussion about personal problems, this individual heard what sounded like another student having a seizure and gasping for help. During the seizure, the bystander couldn't talk to the other students or to find out what, if anything, was going on, or if there was anything that they could do about the emergency. The dependent variable in this study was the speed at which the bystanders reported the emergency to the experimenter. The independent variable was the number of people he believed were in the discussion group with him. The speed of the response by those in the situation depended on the number of bystanders they thought that was present. The more people believed to be listening in on the situation in other rooms, the slower they were to report the seizure. So the best predictor of bystander intervention was the situational variable of the group size. By the way, the explanation of Darley and Layton proposed that the likelihood of intervention decreases as the group size increases, because each person assumes that the others will help, or he or she does not have to make that commitment. Individuals who perceive themselves as part of a large group of potential interveners experience what is known as diffusion of responsibility. And this is the delusion or weakening of each group member's obligation to act when responsibility is perceived to be shared by all the group members. So this training encourage helping. Ted Houston and his colleagues found no personality traits that distinguished people who had helped in an actual emergencies from those who had not. But they did find that helpers more often had some kind of medical, police, first aid, CPR training that were willing to participate in these emergency situations. So, if you need help, you need to ask for it. Social psychologist Tom Morarty in 1975 arranged 2 experiments. First, New Yorkers watched as a thief snatched a woman's suitcase in a restaurant when she left the table. Second, they watched a thief grab a portable radio from a beach blanket when the owner left it for a few minutes. So what did the onlookers do? Some did nothing and let the thief go on his merry way, and others did intervene. So When you're asking for help, what conditions under which some helped and others didn't? When the victim had asked the soon-to-be observer of the crime, either do you have the time or will you please keep an eye on my bag or my radio when I'm gone? The first interaction elicited no personal responsibility, and almost all the bystanders stood idly by when the theft unfolded. However, those who had agreed to watch the victim's property, almost every bystander intervened. The mere act of requesting a favor forges a special human bond that involves other people in ways that materially change the situation. Thank you very much.